Good morning and welcome to Church at Home with Rachael from Monday, the 26th of June. I want to talk a little bit about the importance of community today. I had two experiences this weekend that really drove home the importance of the role of community in our lives. One was close to home here in Wainwright at the Stampede, and the other one took place. I didn't take place within it, obviously, but was shared with me with a viewer, a friend from YouTube, in Fayetteville, Arkansas. No, Fayetteville. Sorry, wrong town. Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I'm going to put a link to a newspaper down in the comments below to direct you to some incredible photography. But first of all, I want to talk about community. We all live in community, whether we acknowledge it or not. Some people like to think they don't, but there's even people who go off the grid have to go into town once in a while, pick up the mail, pick up those groceries you can't make on your own out in the woods. We all deal with community. The way we deal with community really has a huge impact on the way we understand our own lives. If we dread going into community, then going into town or being with other people is going to be something that gives us heartburn and makes us anxious and makes us lose sleep at night. But if we acknowledge that community is an important part of our lives, and maybe even if we're introverts and really don't like hanging out with other people, we're able to acknowledge that, that having a community is important, and being present with them is an essential part of who we are as human beings. That knowledge can help us get over the hurdle of how difficult it might be for some people to be able to deal with others in community. I'm a very public figure between the YouTube, but also, just my job as a priest. But at the end of the day, I'm still a flaming introvert. and dealing with community often leaves me completely drained. So the end of this weekend, after being in the food booth for 3 days and participating and leading worship at the Stampede for an ecumenical service, and just being on, in addition to several other things I had to do, I was absolutely exhausted. Came home Sunday afternoon and fell asleep. And imagine I'm going to fall asleep early every day this week, just trying to get caught up. But I recognize, even though sometimes, lots of times, I would like to sort of call my community my husband and my book and my cup of tea and my comfortable chair or my rocking chair on the deck, I acknowledge the importance of the community and how much it influences my life and how important it is that I may allow it to be an important part of my life. And so getting out into the world and celebrating that it's truly, truly phenomenal when we allow ourselves the freedom to do that. Even when it's hard, being able to have a positive mindset about dealing with community is half the battle. If we're dreading it, if we dread leaving our front door and going out and seeing people, that makes the way we see people, we're going to be down in the mouth, and we're going to be kind of grumpy, and people are going to be like, oh, okay, they're kind of standoffish. I think I will too. We don't have to be, overly exuberant when we go out to the community, but we do need to be open to the ways that the community might help us out, or we might help out the community. And a big way for me this weekend of really coming to grips with that and thinking about it, especially when I was so tired and just the last thing I wanted to see was another person, was the powerful impact coming together in Wainwright at the Stampede at the Elks Hall was for me and for a lot of the people present. There was a young man who came to help set up for the worship. For those of you who don't know, we set up the ministerial, or 3 of the churches in Wainwright, decided we were going to try to have an ecumenical service at the Stampede. It's a low Sunday for us because our church members are often at the Stampede. And for me in particular, because most of my folks are working in the food booth. So we decided, what if we did something together? And so we planned a worship, had beautiful music from Church of the Nazarene, and members of the congregation from Grace United Church in Wainwright came out and helped set up and handed out bulletins and took up the offering for the collection. And members of my congregation did some readings, as well as a member from Grace United. And it really, really came together well. I was terrified. I didn't think it would work. I felt like I hadn't prepared very well at all. But we had about 60 people present, and it was a phenomenal. The music was incredible. The prayers were great. The people were, there was a mixed bag. We had Anglicans, and we had people from the United Church and people from the Church of the Nazarene. And we don't really have all that much in common, except that we all worship Jesus Christ. But that's all we needed. All we needed was to have each other and to be present and worshiping Jesus and having a single focus, which was to gather together as people of God and share in the wisdom and the joy of being together. And it was an incredibly uplifting experience. I'll be honest, when I went into it first thing in the morning, especially when I got to the hall and the door was locked and I had no key, I had to try to track somebody down, and they didn't know we were coming. It was just a schmozzle. And then the group that came to do music set up and then realized we didn't have any access to the sound system, so they went and got their own. I mean, it was incredible. At the beginning, I thought, this isn't going to work. Nobody's going to show up, and this is going to go down as an epic fail. I'll learn something from it, and we'll never do this again. Well, it wasn't an epic fail. It was a tremendous success. And we had so many people asking us at the end of it, can we do this again? Can we gather as Christians in Wainwright again, more often? And the answer is a resounding yes, because we need community. We absolutely need to have one another to lean on and to celebrate with. And so we will be doing this again. I'm already thinking about the second annual Stampede Ecumenical service. Hopefully we'll get more than 3 churches involved. The other part of community, though, that really struck for me is when I got home and I had an email from a friend here from the YouTube channel. And he lives in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And he sent me a link to a newspaper report from from yesterday, from June 25th, that showed probably a dozen pictures of their Pride Parade. And he noted in his email that St. Paul's, I think it's an Episcopal church that he goes to, that would be an Anglican church up in Canada, that he said that the associate pastor mentioned that Fayetteville stood up and did what they do well. They did Pride well. And St. Paul's did what they did well, too. I didn't word that nearly well enough. I should have had the email open in front of me, but you get the gist. She was proud of how they stood up, and they were in the community. And thousands of people joined in the parade and watched from the top of rooftops and from restaurants and sidewalks. And the pictures, I really do commend the pictures. As I said, I'll put the link to the newspaper, or the name of the newspaper. You can Google them. Because it was just an incredible response to love. Because in the end, community should be all about love, about loving our neighbors as ourselves, about treating others as we would like to be treated, about reaching out to one another in hope and joy and peace, and recognizing that not everybody has a great day every day, but if we're having one, we can reach out and help someone else. And then on a day when we're not having a great day, someone else might reach out to us and help us as well. We cannot live as islands unto ourselves. We have to have time in community. Now that may not be all the time, and for some people it may be all the time, but we need to find that place where we recognize the importance of that community, and not only the importance of community in our lives, but the importance of us being in someone else's community. There wasn't one person at that church service yesterday that didn't have an impact on me. I needed them to be there. And the fact is that they needed me to be there too. You are needed in your community. You have a unique perspective, and you have ideas, and you have probably a sense of humor or ingenious things that you do or you can think of, or you have gifts that you can share. Your gift might be in public speaking, or your gift might be in listening and appreciating. But whatever it is that you do, remember that you need to be a part of community, but just as importantly, the community needs you to be a part of them. Wherever you go today, pay attention to the community around you, whether it's simply the person at the post office box when you're picking up your mail, or the person you buy your milk from, or your gas station attendant, or the school that you walk into, or your workplace, or wherever you might be. Pay attention to the community. Keep an eye on the people around you, and keep an eye on who needs a smile. And be aware that if you need a smile, you're welcome to ask someone for one. God bless you as you live in your community today. I will see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel, and I hope that you have a great day.